Hey, you. Yeah, you. You didn't stumble here by chance, so let's talk. My name is Tyanne, but a lot of people call me Taj, and I'm most known for my loud New York personality and my unfiltered opinions. The Melanated Mindset is a safe space for unpopular opinions and heated debates amongst a diverse melting pot of those of us that classify as a melanated millennial. And I don't care if you got a lot of melanin, just a little bit of melanin, or hell, you just melanated by association. Everybody is welcome. Now, I can't speak for y'all, but after seeing what being an adult is really about, nah, I got some things to say. And I know y'all do too. So let's talk about it. Because what's really going on?
What is up, y'all? If you're new, welcome. If you're not, welcome back to the Melanated Mindset. We back, y'all, again for another week, another episode, another Melanated Monday. And let me just tell y'all, I didn't feel like recording today. I knew that I should and that, like, I'm supposed to. It's the adult thing to do to keep myself ahead of the game the way I have been thus far. But I ain't feel like it. I really didn't. Today is today was our chill family, clean the house, kind of just vibe, self-care kind of day. And getting up and turning this mic on was the very last thing on my mind. But then I remembered what the topic was going to be about today. And I was like, oh, yeah, nah. I got some things to get off my chest. So here we are. And y'all know the vibes. I'm starting this episode, like I do with every episode, with my complaint of the week. My complaint for this week is people's lack of professional etiquette. And when I say that, for those of y'all that don't know, I am a licensed realtor in the state of South Carolina. I currently service the Columbia/Fort Jackson area. So if you or anybody that you know are moving here, moving from here, PCSing, relocating, whatever it is, and you are in the market to buy or sell or invest in a home here, I am literally and figuratively your homegirl. Shameless plug. But I say all that to say, although I am a licensed realtor, I am still very much a person first. And there just seems to be a very large lack of professional etiquette. Let me give y'all a little bit of backstory. So this complaint is coming straight off something that happened this morning. So I had what I'll call a potential client, and I'm using those terms very loosely, hit me up via DM. Just so happens I started my morning, doing yoga, vibing, meditating, doing all that. And I usually pride myself on not checking my phone until after 8 a.m. And I wake up well before 8 a.m., anywhere between 5:30 and 6:30. So it is now 6:30 in the morning. I have done my yoga, vibed out, and I'm like, you know what? Let me just check my phone real quick to get myself prepared for the day because I'm actually recording this podcast on Melanated Monday. So I'm like, let me make sure all of my social media ducks is in a row so that when that episode went live, like I could just chill, right? Call myself going to my DM. There's a DM from a gentleman and it says hi, just hi. And usually I don't be responding to those DMs because I feel like it's given very much Forex, very much something, scammer, spam page, something, right? But I realized that this is not the first time this person has DM'd me. This is the second time. First time they DM'd me was a little over a month ago. And the DM just said, damn. It wasn't in response to a story, nothing. It literally just said, damn. I didn't respond to that one. Here we are again. Hi. So I respond back, hi, how may I help you? Instant DM back, are you awake? So now I'm like, okay, like, I don't know who this is, but they playing. So I respond, obviously, how can I help you? Then my phone rings immediately after I send that DM. And I pick it up, and it's my work phone getting on a call from this gentleman. And the way I have my work phone set up is you have to say your name before you speak to me. So I know how to greet and address you appropriately. So it says, hi, you have a call from And he proceeds to say, the guy on Instagram, I'm not going to say exactly what he says because I don't want to pinpoint anybody, but he just says, the guy from Instagram. So I sent it to voicemail because, like I told y'all, it's 6:30 in the morning. So I respond back to the DM and say, hey, if this is you that just called, my business hours start at 9 a.m. I can help you then. He messaged me back. I've been pre-approved for X amount. I want to hire you. So I said again, like I said, my business hours start at so and so. I'll be sure to send you, like a questionnaire or something to fill out, and I will give you a call during my business hours. No disrespect. I just don't do business in my DMs at 6 a.m. And it's just the principle that some adults think that that is okay. Do I have a prominent and active social media presence? Yes. That does not mean slide in my DMs at 6 a.m. trying to talk about some real estate. Mind y'all, it is now like about to be 1 p.m. I sent him the information I need from him before I sent him a call. He has still not filled that out. So you was finna waste my time if I didn't have these systems in place that kind of weed out the people that actually want to buy a home or sell a home and the people that's just finna waste my time. And you was gonna waste my time at 6 something in the morning, you deserve to be cursed out. But I'm healing, so I'm not gonna do that. But y'all understand my frustration with people's lack of professional etiquette. Because even if you were being serious, why is that the place and time to handle business? I thought it's just a unspoken consensus. Business hours start at 9 a.m. If it's important, you call, leave a voicemail, or if you have some time, you shoot an email. I don't come from a generation or era where people are conducting business via Instagram at 6 a.m., at least not in my profession. So that was kind of annoying. And that was a long rant, but I just needed to give y'all a little bit of backstory. On to my highlight of the week. On a much better note, I am super excited because myself, my husband, and my son are going on our first family vacation. And it's crazy that this is our first one because we had such big hopes and dreams that we would be traveling all the time when we got back to the States, like we did when we lived in Europe. But yeah, COVID, getting a house, starting a new career, like it's a lot. So I'm happy that we are finally doing what we said we wanted to do, and we are going on a vacation, and I'm so excited. And I'm just excited for my son to experience vacation with us now that he's a little bit older, now that he understands a little bit more. He's extremely mobile. Like, it'll be interesting to see how he is on this vacation. So I'm looking forward to it. Now let's get into this Fendi fact because we got some things to talk about today. And I promise I am going to try to not make this episode long. But yeah, I have a lot to say on this topic. Today's Fendi fact is coming directly from CNBC's website. And it's an article that is titled, Here's What Makes Positive Parenting Different and Why Experts Say It's One of the Best Parenting Styles. The article then goes on to read, Unlike authoritarian parenting, which places high expectations on children with little responsiveness, or uninvolved parenting, where there is little nurturance or guidance, positive parenting is an empathy based approach that involves techniques such as encouragement and problem solving, rather than shouting, hostility, shaming, or leveraging rewards. In fact, studies have found that when parents resort to constant yelling or nagging, they typically end up feeling frustrated, angry, and then guilty afterwards. The kids, in turn, may feel frustrated and angry as well and continue to misbehave. In the end, very little changes and the cycle is likely to repeat. Yeah, so if it wasn't obvious, today's episode is going to be about soft slash gentle slash positive parenting, or whatever it is you like to refer to it as, because I know it has different names for different reasons and people find reasons to dissect why it shouldn't be called this and why it should be called that and all that other bullshit. Whatever you call it, that's what we're talking about. Let me also start this flow of topic let me start with this disclaimer. This here melanated mindset is a safe space for all parenting styles. Let me make that very clear. However you parent your child is none of my goddamn business. So therefore, y'all are free to do whatever it is y'all want with y'all kids, and I'm going to do what I want with mine. So this is in no way judgment or shame on however you parent your children. And this is in no way an invitation for opinions and advice on how to parent mine. Because y'all can do what the hell y'all want to do, and I'm going to do what the hell I want to do. Now that we got that out the way, I just have to first start this by saying this topic came at a perfect time. Remember, I told y'all I didn't even feel like recording today. But it just so happens that I am engaging, because I got time today, with a Twitter troll. And it's about this topic. And I actually want to pull up the tweets just so I could give y'all a little bit of context into what we are originally talking about. So someone tweeted, soft, in quotations, parenting is really just normal parenting that y'all labeled soft in quotations because you can't grasp the concept of not harming a child to get a point across. Then somebody under that responded, soft parenting works until your kids start to think that you are equals. So, yeah, it just so happened that I came across that, and I was going back and forth with somebody, and I already wanted to make a podcast episode about this because me personally, one, y'all know I do not come on here. I do not pretend to be perfect. I do not sit on no high horse. I come on here and I keep it 100 with y'all. It has been a rough parenting week. Like I said, we're about to go on vacation. So that involves me getting things together for not just myself, but for my family. Me making sure that my clients and my career is on autopilot for these couple days that I'm going to be gone. This involves making sure that I have everything physically for myself, for my family, that we're not forgetting anything. We live in a post-pandemic world. So I got to make sure that we take in COVID tests and scheduling. Like, it has been a very hectic week. Anybody that has traveled, let alone travel with kids, preparing for the vacation it's a bill and it's a goddamn headache. So that's the type of week that we've been having. I also have a very active 2-year-old. So my toddler is at a very inquisitive stage. So therefore, it's just been a very rough parenting week, to say the least, to sum it up. But we're getting through this, and we're obviously surviving, right? But this whole soft, gentle parenting thing, like, it's been heavy on my mind all week because that, if I'm being honest, is why it has been such a rough parenting week for me, because I have consciously and adamantly made decisions this week to be as soft and gentle as I possibly can with my toddler, because I know that I have a lot going on in my mental headspace, trying to prepare for this vacation and worrying about work and all of this good stuff. And I don't know if it's considered TMI, but we're grown. Mother Nature is making her way. So I know personally it's me and not him, right? In his head, he's just trying to play. He's just trying to have fun. It's a regular week for him, and I completely understand that. So I have gone out my way to make sure that I am not taking out my frustrations and my exhaustion, none of that on him. Because let's be honest, it's real easy to do that. And I'm not just talking about taking that type of frustration out with your children. I'm talking about with anybody around you. It's easy to lash out on the people that are there, because it's just like that one day that you have your plate full and someone that lives with you, whether it's a parent, whether it's a child, whether it's a spouse or a partner, whatever, says the wrong thing at the wrong time and you snap. That's the easy thing to do because it comes naturally. But constantly making the conscious effort to not do what's easy, in my opinion, is hard. And I made that choice every chance I could this week, which was rough. And I'm going to be real, it was rough. I'm not saying yelling at my child is easy. I'm just saying sometimes you just be wanting to get a little off your chest, not necessarily at your child. And in my case, not necessarily at my child. But sometimes, y'all, I'm going to keep it funky. I just want to fucking scream. I am a full-time mom, stay-at-home mom. My child is with me every second of every day from the moment that he wakes up to the moment that he goes to sleep, 9 times out of 10. I am also a working mom. I run a full plethora of businesses from my home with my child with me every second of every day. I am also a very active wife. My husband is in the military. He has a career that sometimes he needs me to run and do things while he runs and do things, or he is caught up doing something but he needs something done. I still try to show up for my friends. My life is chaotic and hectic, and I be feeling like burnt out superwoman all the time. Sometimes I just want to scream. It don't matter who it's at. Some days it's just the straw that breaks the camel's back is my 2-year old. And I acknowledge that and I correct myself every single chance I get because I'm trying to be that soft, gentle parent. Y'all heard the Fendi fact. Y'all heard what soft, positive, gentle, again, whatever y'all want to call it, whatever I proceed to call it from this point, please do not take no offense. It's not that deep. Y'all know what I'm talking about. That type of parenting, I told y'all what it was in the Fendi fact. I described what it was. Does that definition resonate with you? Would y'all agree that that's what that is? That's what this parenting style is? But then let me ask you, you personally, you listening right now, did you grow up with that type of parent? Now, I don't want to make an assumption, but I think it's safe to say that at least half of you did not. That's number one. Let's start right there. Half of us did not grow up with these soft, gentle, positive parents. Specifically, if you grew up, like they say down south, up north, so in the northern, the Pennsylvanias, the New Jerseys, the New Yorks, the Connecticut's, you grew up in those states, and you Caribbean or West Indian on top of that, your parents didn't have time for that, especially if you're a 90s baby. Y'all be seeing the memes. We all had the same goddamn childhood. Our parents were overworked, underpaid, undervalued, underappreciated. They didn't have time. And that's nothing, that's no fault of theirs. It just so happens that we all fall victim to the same system. That's really what it is. And we have to call a spade a spade. The aggressive, or I don't even know what the terminology is for the type of parenting where people just yelling and spanking their kids. Let's call a spade, right? It's a generational curse. And we need to acknowledge it as such. Okay? If you didn't grow up in a household with people that were patient and understanding and empathetic towards you, it is extremely challenging to then turn around and be this gentle, empathetic person to other people. And I don't understand what the masses don't understand about that. When I say with the masses, I'm talking about the people that are just like, it's not hard to not yell, or it's not hard to not spank your kid, blah, 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 blah. Again, not saying that I do any of these things. This is not about specifically me and my parenting. I'm just saying, like, the people that are completely against it, that's okay. But understand, if you didn't grow up in a household like that, that change does not happen overnight. Or if you did grow up in a household where you were getting spanked or you were getting yelled at, and you're just like, when I have my kids, I'm never going to do X, Y, Z, Z. Let me tell you, sounds good. Sounds good. And you can have the best intentions, but let me tell you what they don't tell you about parenting. Let me tell you what they don't tell you about soft, gentle, positive parenting when you're not a product of that. And when I say that, let me make it clear. That does not mean that our parents didn't love us, didn't value us, didn't cherish us. They just didn't know how to be soft and be gentle. They just didn't. They didn't know how to do that while also preparing us for the world they were about to send us out into. So I think I speak from majority of my generation when I say we know that our parents loved us. We know that our parents tried every single day. We know that our parents did the absolute best that they could with what they had. We are also trying to be the generation that kind of changes that. But that shit is hard because that sound good. That sounds so good that I'm never going to yell at my kid and I'm never going to lose it and I'm going to have patience and I'm going to be my child's friend. That shit sound cool until you're the parent and you're running on less than 2 hours of sleep and you can't remember the last time that you ate or you can't remember the last time you put yourself before this little person that demands so much attention and so much time, while also trying to still have time and attention for yourself in the other areas of your life. And I know what they're going to say. They're going to be like, well, that's what happens when you have kids, blah, 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 blah. Yeah, but that's the part of parenting. That's the real nitty gritty stuff that not a lot of people are talking about. So it's the part of parenting that a lot of people are not prepared for. Common sense tells you you're going to have to be patient. You're going to have to be empathetic when you have children, but you never think about the situations that you're going to have to do it in. Like, why is that so hard to understand? And let me be clear, for the people that don't have kids, I don't think that y'all get an opinion on how people parent their kids. Because I too once was a person without kids, judging how other people raise their kids. And I'm eating them goddamn words. Oh, my child's never gonna throw a temper tantrum, and I'm never gonna do this. I'm never gonna do that. You eat them words. If you don't got no kids, shut up. This not your conversation. When you have your kids and you find yourself in them situations, how you react, how you respond is your business. Just come back, let us know how you worked it out, what worked for you, what didn't. Tell us what you learned and move on, because it's so easy to throw stones from the outside. It's so easy to tell people how to parent their children when people are really out here every day trying to be the parents that they didn't get, but also still being the parent that they did get. It's not easy at all. We gonna tell y'all, we been there, we done that. And you eat all them words because it's good. It sounds so good and so easy to say what you think you would do when you're in that predicament. But I'm here to tell you, you don't. You're making that conscious decision. Oh, I'm not going to yell at my kids. Oh, I'm not going to spank my kids. That's what you're making the conscious decision to do. But like I said, if you didn't grow up in a household that wasn't like that, your subconscious is what's going to kick in. Your subconscious is what's going to be your first go-to. That first time your child tests your gangster or tests your patience on a day that you already really had very little to none. You got to make that conscious effort every day. So I feel like the people that sit on the internet and judge the people that are literally just trying to parent their kids as best they fucking can, y'all gotta chill. This shit don't happen overnight. You don't push out a kid and be like, yep, my parents used to spank me, but I'm never spanking my kid. Nope, not gonna be me. Never. That's not how that work. It is not. It sounds good. It really do. But it's not real for majority of people. For majority of people, it's a lifelong struggle to unlearn the things that you learned as a kid. It's a lifelong struggle to have patience and empathy with people when nobody had patience and empathy for you. It's not hard to understand. It's literally reprogramming and changing your brain. Literally. And I'm going to give y'all the perfect example because I could go on forever about this, but I really want to wrap it up. The perfect example for all of the people that grew up in households that y'all got yelled at, y'all got spanked or whatever, right? If y'all have kids now, and if you are fortunate enough to have your parents in your life, which means your children have their grandparents in their life, don't you see the switch? Don't you see the difference in how your parents treat your child versus how they treated you as a child? Why is that? Because your parents went through the cycle and realized, you know what? That maybe wasn't the best way. Here's my chance to try again. And they grow up and turn into those grandparents that got all the empathy and all the patience and all the time. And it's beautiful to see your child get loved on like that. But the little kid in you cries just a little bit like, damn, that's all I needed. But it's okay because everybody figures it out at different points. But y'all can't tell me that those of y'all that got kids right now, y'all can't tell me them grandparents ain't some suckers. And you be like, when I was a kid, you didn't do this, and this. But it's okay. They understand that, whether they want to admit it or not. They understand that some of the things they did could have been handled differently, not necessarily better, but differently. So they trying again with our kids. And we are trying to make sure that we are where they at now in our parenting journeys. And that shit is hard. Okay? And I'm not finna sit up here and act like it's not. I got my ass tore up as a kid. I got yelled at. Okay? It is what it is. My parents love me absolutely. I turned out to be amazing. So for the psychologists on the internet that be on here, like, if you beat your kids, blah, 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 I fortunately turned out fine. Does that mean that I am going to implement them exact same practices with my child? No. But I get it. I do. And the rest of y'all need to too. Especially if you ain't got no kids, please just you join the conversation when you get kids and you are the type of parent you want to be. That is that, or you are on your parenting journey. The people without kids, just please exit stage left. Not for you. And that's really what I got for y'all today. Because I could go crazy, but I ain't gonna do that. I'm gonna just keep it very basic, very simple. There are different parenting styles, and it's okay to be in between parenting styles. If you are trying to be a soft, gentle parent and you have a bad day where you snap, it is okay. It is okay. I'm not saying it's okay to be harming and abusing your children. Absolutely not. I'm saying it's okay to lose your cool and maybe, yeah, I'm gonna keep it a buck. I'm trying to be so politically correct, but I'm gonna keep it real. If you lose it and you yell and you spaz today, I'm not saying you need to be calling your child out their name, but you raise your voice at your child today because you just sick and tired and had enough. It's okay. Tomorrow is a new day. And if today's not done, if that's not right before they go to bed, you have time in that same day to now come down to a more level head, reassess the situation, how you could have reacted differently, not better, but differently. And then you bring your child to a conversation and you talk about it. Well, mommy and daddy didn't like when you did this because this. It is okay to correct yourself. You don't have to feel like a hypocrite. You don't have to feel like a failure. We all have bad days. Do not let the internet make you feel like because you had a bad parenting day, you're a bad parent, because that's bad. Good people have bad days. It just is what it is. And if you are making a conscious effort to try your absolute hardest to reparent yourself, because that's what it comes down to. You're not just parenting a child the way you've never been parented. You're reparenting yourself to turn yourself into the parent that you did not have, so you can turn out to be the parent that you want your child to have. Y'all hearing how complex this is? But yet people act like you just supposed to wake up and have it all together. I'm going to keep it a buck. You ain't got it all together today. Try again tomorrow. And the next day. And the next day. And every day you put a little more effort and a little more time into turning yourself into the best parent that you possibly could be with the circumstances and situations you currently are facing. Be the best you can. Do the best you can with what you got, just like our parents did. And I'm going to end y'all with our word of the week. This week's word of the week is judgment. Because y'all got to cut that shit out. If you judging people that's spanking their kids or not spanking their kids, stop it. You parent your child how you want them to be. You parent your child how you want them to go out into this world. Are there people raising less than ideal children? I'm talking about the ones that grow up and be murderers and rapists and killers and all that shit. There are people obviously raising those people. But if your goal every day is to not raise that person, then you doing what you need to be doing, and you need to not be worrying about what nobody else is doing. Because unless you are housing, loving, and feeding them children, unless you're paying taxes for these kids, they not yours, so they not your business. Simple as that. Worry about your parenting and your children. And stop worrying about what everybody else is doing. Stop calling people out of their names. Stop talking down on people. They're not your kids, so they're not your business. And that's that on that. Y'all know the vibes. If you want to follow me in real time, make sure you're following the podcast Instagram at the melanated. Make sure you're following the podcast at the.melanated mindset. Make sure you're following my personal Instagram at Tyanne.Watson, my Twitter. Make sure you're following me on YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed to me on YouTube, Tyanne Watson. All that stuff is linked in the description of this podcast. And yeah, that's all I have for y'all today.
And on that note, if you made it this far, thank you for just rocking with me, kicking with me, chopping it up with me, all of that. I appreciate each and every one of y'all. The love, the support, it never goes unnoticed or unappreciated. And if you want to join the conversation in real time and share your personal thoughts and opinions, make sure you follow me on Instagram at the.melanatedmindset. That's where I'm going to be posting all the polls, the questions, the conversation starters, all of that. That's also going to be where you'll get to hear sneak peeks and previews into the episodes to come. It's going to be one hell of a ride. I hope y'all are ready. Until then, I'll see y'all same time, same place, next week for hashtag Melanated Monday. And remember, the goal is to be good and do good. Until then, peace, y'all.